Hey everybody, I'm Sam and you're watching Growing Older Gay's weekly podcast check-in called Kitchen Table. This is episode 28 for August 24th, 2025. Today, I've got a lot of stuff to talk about, and this is, of course, our weekly check-in where I tell you what's going on at my kitchen table as well as the kitchen tables around the LGBTQ plus universe. That's always such a mouthful, man. And I always like to start with our meme of the day. Our social media channels, all four food groups, we have daily memes that have uplifting, sometimes funny, sometimes tongue-in-cheek, but always spiritual memes that talk about just a little bit of advice to start our day with. And today's is sexual experimentation is an opportunity for joy. So I've got a couple bullet points here that really dive into what this means. People need to stop clutching their pearls out there. I've had people that look at me in full leather on this show and go, oh my God, that's a little bit too racy. Folks, we are gay, okay? That alone right there casts us into the lake of hell, the lake of fire, and discounts us from being part of the normal routine of the world to so many people out there. We've already gone there, all right? I say that tongue-in-cheek, but my point is this. Why carry shame about our sex and our kinks and all of the things that we really get to enjoy now that we've jumped over the fence and we've gone after the greener grass, or maybe the redder fire, whatever you want to call it? Shed the shame of the past programming that you were given. Our parents, our churches, society, the kids at school, they programmed us with this notion that our sex is wrong, that our sex is dirty, that our sex is risque, and that you really can't talk about it. We need not be shameful and carry shame over past programming. We need to let go of that. Basically, where my philosophy on this comes to is the fact that God gave us our sexuality, gave us our sex powers to use, right? Not to put in a drawer and be shameful about. As long as we are not hurting ourselves, we are not causing harm to other people, there is nothing wrong with what we do in the bedroom. Not a single thing. The next thing on the list is be open-minded about kinks, suggestions, and offers. The more you explore, the more you experiment in your sex and sexuality, the more opportunities you have to find things that really bring you joy sharing and connecting with other people. Joy on your own, right? There's a lot of devices and toys and things like that we can play with and have a good time that enable us to have joy on our own when nobody's around. But there are so many things that we can engage with other people doing, and largely, they're called kinks. And I've heard people say, oh, I could never do that. Why? I almost cry when I hear people say that. Why? Yes, you can. You just got to do it. It's like a guy that I met at IML last year. He gets on the elevator wearing this full leather harness and nothing else. He had a leather jock on, and the guy was just this big, hairy bear guy wearing nothing hardly at all but this leather strap harness. He gets on the elevator and somebody says, oh, I could never wear that. And he just looks at him and he goes, yes, you can. You just got to go buy it and put it on. It's that simple. But it really isn't for some people. Some of us really need to work hard to get over our shame. And the sad thing is that shame is keeping us from being happy. It's keeping us from fully living our lives as vibrant as we can. And that's it. Get rid of the shame. There's no reason to have shame for our sex. It's not dirty. It's not wrong. It was given to us by God. Go do it. And lots of it. And lots of different kinds of it. Yeah, that's all. Next on the list, I want to shout out and somebody who's helped me sort of realize some of these things, and he's a great teacher, Bobby Box. He calls himself a shameless certified sex educator and a sex columnist. Your favorite bottom's favorite bottom. There's a lot of helpful advice and commentary in videos, serious writing, and on social media, his website, and several other sources. This guy is fun. He's fun to watch, and the stuff he's putting on Instagram, which is where I see most of it, it's very uplifting and inspiring, and it's good and entertaining. The graphics are good. He dives in deep to a lot of the behaviors and a lot of the set-in ways that cause us to not really fully realize our potential as gay men out there. And he really explains why and backs it up with some psychology, what happened when we were young and what brought us to where we are and how we're still allowing some of these things to limit us. Check him out. He's interesting. He's kind of cute too. Yeah. Cute. Now we've got to get to Shit Show 2025 because it is getting shittier and shittier and shittier. And so I've been smiling and having some fun, but we've got some serious stuff to talk about. MAGA is scared to death of our rainbow crosswalks. They have issued a nationwide decree to all states, and I'm talking specifically the federal government. They have issued a letter to all the states telling them that basically they need to get rid of any rainbow crosswalks that they have, or their federal funding is going to be pulled for their highways and roads. And in the news this week, of course, the rainbow crosswalk in front of the Pulse Memorial in Orlando, Florida, was painted over this week. The state came in the dark of night, painted it over black. What a hateful, bitchy, petty little thing. What a fucked up thing. The hate, the pettiness, and just the downright cruelty. The good news is the people are fighting back. In Orlando, the very next day, protesters came out and they used chalk to color it back in. And if that weren't enough, the day after that, protesters came out and they painted it. And they have vowed to keep painting it back until it stops being painted over and screwed up. Now, they may get in trouble. They may go to jail. There might be a lawsuit. But so far, the city of Orlando has not stood up. It's the people that live there who have done this. And as I've been reading into this, communities around the country are starting to gear up for a fight. Key West, Delray Beach, Florida, both have said that they are not going to get rid of their rainbow crosswalks, that they are going to fight it any way they can. Now, will they succeed? They don't know, because this is Florida. But there's even places like here in Phoenix, Arizona, where I have rainbow crosswalks. There are 2 of them here in Phoenix. They are at risk of being painted over as well if the state cowers and breaks to the pressure under threat of losing their federal funds, that they may have to paint those over. And this really goes to a lot of communities and cities around the country. And what's ironic about all of this week, with MAGA rolling over all of these rainbow crosswalks everywhere, is we just had a MAGA scandal this week with Cracker Barrel. They got rid of their angry white man in their barrel, and MAGA's head blew off. All week long on Fox News, this was front page. They don't mind doing all of the cruel things that they're doing to erase and cancel a whole other part of our community in real life, yet some business that's just doing free enterprise, it's their logo. They can change it if they want. They change their own logo, and MAGA freaks out, calling it woke. Them woke fuckers are doing all kinds of dumb stuff. We're going to boycott them now. I mean, it just goes to show you what these people are about. While this whole story here just kind of makes you shake your head, the next one actually sort of brought a tear to my eye. And this is more serious, and this is an extension of what we've been talking about with Shit Show 2025. Federal government cancels transgender healthcare coverage. Federal government cancels transgender healthcare coverage. Last week, the U.S. Office of Personnel Management issued a memo announcing that beginning in 2026, all federal employee health benefits will be barred from covering gender-affirming care, including hormone therapy and gender-affirming surgeries. This sweeping prohibition affects the health benefits of more than 10 million federal workers and their family members, making it one of the largest rollbacks of transgender healthcare access in U.S. history. Even more disturbing, the memo mandates that insurers cover faith-based counseling for transgender individuals, otherwise known as conversion therapy. So they're not going to actually treat you with science. They're going to suggest you go talk to the preacher, basically. Let's go back to 1950, because we're stupid and simple-minded, and we can't hack the fact that society's progressive and it changes. No, we're going to go make you talk to the preacher. There are people out there who are on daily medications around their gender treatments. And if their insurance can no longer cover this, they're going to be looking for other jobs. They're going to need to maybe let go of their job with the federal government. And I think this is actually part of the federal government's plan. They want these people to self-select and leave. They don't want them around. And so this is one way that they can do that, by not allowing them to have the type of health coverage they need in a place where, honestly, it's been taken for granted for quite some time. And I don't believe that's the end. I think we're going to see other types of care They can just clip abortion care. They can clip PrEP. They can clip HIV. There's any number of things they can clip just because they don't like it. If they can do this, there's so many other things they can do. And what's ironic about this, just like the last story, back when Obamacare was being put into effect and they were crafting Obamacare and they were getting ready to vote on it and create Obamacare, the Republicans and the conservatives were screaming like a bunch of stuck pigs, saying things like, well, if we have government-controlled healthcare, guess what's going to happen? They're going to start deciding what to cover and what not to cover. They're going to start telling people, well, you're fat and you smoke. We're not going to cover high cholesterol and the medications you need to keep yourselves alive because those are bad things. We don't want you to do that. Well, that's exactly what this is. So the very people that complained and bitched and moaned and scared everybody about socialized medicine a decade or so ago, and all the reasons they gave, now they're the very same people that are doing it. This is exactly the reason they said we shouldn't have the government in control of healthcare. Because if the government decides it doesn't like something, if it doesn't like you, guess what? They can take your healthcare away. And so if you're a MAGA person, if you're a conservative log cabin Republican, fuck off. This is not the show for you. The problem with letting a president roll roughshod like you are letting this president roll roughshod is there's going to come a day when there's going to be a Democrat in the office. There's going to come a day when there's a Democratic-run Congress and a Democratic-run Senate. And you better fucking watch out if you're a MAGA person, because if this is good for the goose, it's good for the gander. And this is honestly why none of what's happening is good, because nobody wants a president and an administration that is so powerful that they can do whatever they want, whether it's right or wrong or illegal. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. It's just wrong. It's un-American. And we are now seeing the results of what it causes. And we're not even done yet. We still have another 3.5 years to go of this, at least. I've been on a wreck today with this, haven't I? What's going on right now is not good. And we are the only ones that can save ourselves. Nobody's looking out for us. We're the only people that can look out for ourselves and fight for ourselves, because we're sort of alone on the island in a lot of ways. I hate to say it. But the good news is there are a lot of different peoples out there who are also alone on an island. And I'm talking about people that are immigrants that have come here from other nations who are being treated the way they are and their rights are being taken away. If you fall under the umbrella of woke, the government's coming after you. They're coming after us. And we can band together and fight for each other in addition to fighting for ourselves. And that is it. I'm not trying to start a guerrilla movement. There's plenty out there on Google if you find them. They exist. So anyway, there you go. That is our episode for today. Woo! You can see our latest one right there. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel right there. Either way, stay tuned.